Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I'm going to be joined by Gathering the Magic. This is a clip from a recent conversation we had together, and we're going to be talking about the card supplies on the marketplace for Splinterlands. There's not enough of these cards if we have any sort of player-based growth. And so if we are looking at a bull market moment for cryptocurrency broadly, but Splinterlands specifically, what will that mean for incoming players? Will they be able to even enter the game, or is there no on-ramp due to lack of card liquidity? I want to talk about it with Gathering, and I hope you'll stick around and hear the conversation. Let's get into it.
But you brought down another point, and I keep circling back to it all the time is, if we get 10,000 new players, it's like, how are we going to get 10,000 players when we don't have cards for 100?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a challenge the team's going to have. To get to 20,000 players, first you got to get to 100, then 5, then 1,000. So on the way there, cards are disappearing. SPS is disappearing off the market. SPS is disappearing off the rental market. At what point do we not get new players in just because we don't have the assets for them? And how is the team going to adjust to that?
I think Conclave Arcana will be a piece of that. And shout out to Aftertown. He did a video talking about Rebellion's almost done, and we have to remember that the beginner packs from Conclave are going to have 25 cards in them, and I think it's $4 or $5 for a pack. So you get, it's $5 a pack, US dollars, and you're going to get 25 cards from the Conclave Arcana common. I think it's common only, or is it common and rare? Either way.
Common and rare. Okay. Yeah, 25 cards, common and rare. I don't remember the price, but that sounds about right. I
think it was $4
or $5.
Yeah.
And that is going to be huge revenue from the team because I don't think there's a limit on those, correct?
No, that's true. There is no limit on those. So there's so much there, and that could be its own video, and that would be cool to talk about. But suffice it to say, we might end up seeing significant, huge sales of Conclave Arcana that are way crazier than what we saw with respect to Rebellion. And this is after Sun's point that maybe Rebellion is like the modern day Untamed, whereas Conclave Arcana will end up being like the modern day Chaos Legion, because entrance into access to the game in the middle of a bull market with an unlimited print possibility for those beginner packs allow a greater access point and an introduction to this thing. So I do think there's some truth to that. I ultimately, I don't fully agree, but I think there's some truth to that, because I do think we are going to see player growth, and you're right. They're going to run into a wall when they go, hey, I need these summoners, and who do I have access to? Well, again, there's no supply here. There's this is good for 4 people, not for 400, and every one of them is the same deal. There's one last point I want to say to that, Gathering, and that maybe the community might want to hear. You always have to remember that the supply reflected in this moment is not the supply reflected in the future, because so as we look at Dole for Darflak and we go, well, if we want to buy max copies, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 people could have a max Dole for right now. But if this price goes from $120 for a max copy, or let's say 30 cents a BCX to 90 cents a BCX, I believe that's possible. First point. Second point, if that happens, new supply will come to the market because old holders say, oh, wow, $360 for a max Dole for, I could sell for that and be happy to. So that's the ebb and flow of the marketplace. We have a lack of supply right now, but that will cause price increase. But as that causes price increase, you'll see greater supply. There's an old expression that says, the best cure for high prices is high prices. Because if the price of this card shoots to the moon, new people current holders will sell into that pressure. That's one. Those are the countervailing kind of concerns, or not concerns, considerations as we look at it. It is set for a tension though, and I do think higher prices, and I do think that'll drive people crazy, and that will push Conclave in some cool ways.
Well, one thing to look at is how many people are holding Rebellion packs. It's ridiculously low.
That's true too.
If you look on Peak Monsters and look at the top 200 holders of Rebellion packs, I could right now be in the top 200 and I could hold 4 packs. That's it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there's not a lot of people that have packs that they can just crack and pull the cards and put back on the market. The people that do have Rebellion probably don't have extras because, like we both know, most people don't have a Rebellion deck maxed out or anywhere near it. So I don't think there's going to be much supply that's on the marketplace unless we get a huge influx of pack buying in the last month, which is
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we're going to hit 1 million. I think in the last 2 weeks, people are going to, really increase the buying of Rebellion packs. But even still, I mean, if you look at Chaos Legion in the top 200, there's people holding thousands and thousands of packs. But
Yes.
just there's not very many people even holding 50 packs of Rebellion.
Yeah, that's a good point. They could still bring their cards to market, but even that even that supply is very limited. And there's a way to look at this probably with Splinter cards. I'm just trying to get my head around it a little bit. So we don't just want to look at how many unopened packs there are. We want to look at how many opened packs there are. So, and that gives you something. So as I look at Splinter cards on my screen and we go to the packs here, we see the Rebellion, there was 911,000 open Chaos Legion packs. As we compare that to, I mean, it's not even fair to compare it to Rift Watchers. Rift Watchers is very comparable, but it's not fair to compare it to Rift Watchers because Rift Watchers was a mini set. And so a mini set means that there would be greater production of each card within the pack because there's fewer cards from the set. So I want to say there was like 40 cards in Rift Watchers. There's like 90 in Rebellion, something like that. Therefore, if the same number of packs opened in Rift Watchers and the same number of cards per pack, then you're going to see double or something like that of per BCX on those cards. So my point is super rare. And I think that's affirming what you're saying. It's not only there's a lack of packs available, unopened packs, but there's actually a lack of cards available, clearly. But definitely some holders of opened cards would sell into doubling, tripling prices. And so, but yeah, I mean, also Conclave is maybe the bigger factor because Conclave, people may just say Rebellion's out of my price point. I'm gonna go ahead and gobble up those beginner packs. And then you'll be a mid-tier player. You're not gonna achieve at the highest levels without those epics and those Rebellion legendaries. I mean the Conclave epics and legendaries. But some people will try that approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's going to be fantastic for the team as far as revenue are those starter packs because they are affordable. They give you a great amount of cards. They allow you to get a good basis, for, maybe a bronze or a low silver deck, to be able to earn. So a lot of the new players that are coming in, that's going to be a fantastic way for them to get involved with Splinterlands, get their feet wet, earn a little bit, and then maybe get excited to start purchasing, some more packs and grow their account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I was wanted to see the Conclave Arcana post, but as I recall, it was $5 for those beginner packs, and they are going to have 25 cards in them, and they will be bought up for sure. There's so much that's going to be changing, and maybe a nice way to finish that conversation is to draw back to the first points we were making around thinking through the synergies that are available to you. When we learn about what Conclave Arcana looks like, they will hopefully they'll do another cool promo where they let some of the content creators reveal the cards, and I would love to be part of that. And as I'm sure you would too. When we start seeing those cards, and you start seeing what the commons and the rares are, and the epics and the legendaries, there's going to be a moment where you realize, oh, if I'm relying on Rebellion and Rebellion rewards and Conclave common and rare, I'm missing all of blank. I don't know what but we need, and that's the general manager hat within the Splinterlands game. You need to know what assets you have and what paces you lack so that you can be the best coach in the game and win the most reward per battle. If you have no tank on your main teams or you lack key summoners, you're out, you're just going to lose. But if you got the basics of your summoners, then you got the basics of a functional team with your tanks and your supports, your heals and your repairs, etc. You can set yourself up, set yourself apart, probably more importantly, and that seeing those trends before others is so important. So whether it's today looking at the Rebellion rewards and the Rebellion cards and making moves today as opposed to 90 days when everyone is, or whether it's again when the Conclave information is out and saying, okay, look, if I buy the beginner packs because they're cheap, I'm going to have X, Y, and Z hole. I need to fill that now before others see that same gap. Again, no taunts or no summoners under 4 mana or whatever, no tank heal, like key synergies or considerations. So I think I'm looking forward to you doing that video on the comparables next week or whatever. But another revisit to that conversation once the Conclave beginner sets, with the lens of what do the beginner sets provide and what do they miss, I think is interesting. Hey.
Mm-hmm. So with the starter packs too, at least my understanding, just complete conjecture at this point, is I'm assuming that they're probably going to have rare summoners for Conclave Arcana. So this is going to be a great way too for people to be able to at least build somewhat of a deck and have some access to summoners, even if you're only getting commons and rares. Now what's going to be really interesting is if they decide to go the route of we're going to have summoners that are not legendary in Conclave Arcana, but they're going to be epic.
Mm-hmm.
So now, that could be a thing where it's like, okay, well, you can get the starter pack, but you can't get summoners. You can only get summoners if you buy the epics.
Wow.
Maybe the epics are like 2 mana or 3 mana, so they're literally playable. So that would kind of throw a wrench in some people's plans of, well, I'll just buy starter, packs and build up my summoners that way.
Dude, that's a video.
So I can't wait till they start. I can't wait till they start releasing some information, but that's probably not going to be till, I would think, early next year.
I hope they do what you just said, because that would really say, look, you can have access to this and you can rent some summoners and you can buy a few of these Rebellion summoners. Or maybe you go, but it would just be an interesting way to say, look, like if you're serious about this and you want to perform at a high level, you can't just be commons and rares and the cheap starter packs. Like you need to come in. I think something like that makes a lot of sense. Even if at minimum, this is one alternate suggestion. We've seen you can have common summoners, you can have rare, epic, or legendary. If you just propose epics, well, and I think I like that idea, but I also would like to see no common summoners, because these common summoners are relatively recent. They're going to be in modern, and for the purpose of that, those beginner packs are going to primarily produce common cards. So they may overproduce summoners if commons are available. If rare summoners are available, I think you're going to see fewer of those. Maybe you'll see 5 rares per beginner 25 pack. And that's going to that may overproduce summoners in and of itself. But I think if you make common summoners and you sell packs that are $1 a pack, essentially, because it's $5 for 25 cards, that's essentially $1 a pack. I would argue that alone makes sense. Buy those beginner packs until you get max common summoners, if they put common summoners in those in that set. So I say make them minimum rare summoners. Might even make sense to say epics, but definitely not common. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say definitely not common summoners, because we have them here.
Yeah.
And, another thing too is Conclave Arcana going to have dual summoners. Or are we going to go back to just single Splinter summoners again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's another reason to get the common ones now, is because maybe going forward you can't have dual summoners. I don't know. There's so many unknowns yet.
I know. It's very exciting. It is super exciting. Okay, pal, I will let you go on that, but just everybody check out Gathering the Magic 1984 on YouTube. Thanks for coming to hang out. And
yeah, always a pleasure. Remember, guys, stay the course, keep on forging, have fun, and here's to a great end of 2024 and what I think is going to be an amazing 2025.
Absolutely. Okay, pal. Have an awesome day.